Hello, this is Perry Pencil, and today I'm going to show you how to draw Punisher from the Netflix series. Let's begin. You can go ahead and divide your page in half. And start with an oval shape. This is just to get the dimension or size of his head. And once you've got your oval in place, you're going to put another oval for his neck. Now I'm going to measure the width of his shoulders by the head. Take your index finger and thumb, turn it sideways, mark it. Let's slide it over for the left side, mark it. Now that we have these points in, just go ahead and create what I call a coat hanger for the shoulders, and then come straight across for the shoulder blade. Once completed, you can go ahead on and create what I call a U shape for the torso. And the top portion of his body is going to go off the page. So this is going to be a bust drawing. Now for his arms, we can go ahead and put a circle here and a circle for his right side. And then right off of that, he's wearing a jacket, a leather jacket, so that's going to go off the page. And then it's not going to be too complicated. For his right arm, he's going to be holding a gun, so we're going to come down and just at the bottom of the torso, that we'll have his elbow come down to here. And we'll raise it up, and then we could put a circle for his wrist and have his hand come out where he'll be holding the gun later on. All right, now I'm going to move up and we're going to deal with his head. So I'm going to zoom in for this portion. Now for his head, he's going to be looking down over his left shoulder, so I'm going to have a line come over like this and like this, and then this will be the back portion of his head up here. Then come down like this, and you can use the middle line for the rest of his head. We can divide the front part of his face in half here, and then we can come over on an angle like this. Now off of his temple line, we can go ahead on and put his eyebrow in. So his eyebrow is going to come up here, down, and then we're going to raise it in the center right here. We're going to move over just a little bit and have his left eye come over and up like this. And for his forehead, we're going to come down and around. If you notice, follow my pencil down and around like this. And now for his nose is going to have at the bridge of the nose is going to be here. It's going to come down. You notice I have one out, in, and then out again. Now to match that, this center line is going to be where the bottom portion of his nose is going to be. So we have to round that off and then come around like this. Now, once we have his nose in place, his right eye is actually going to come right under his eyebrow like this, and we don't totally see his eye open because he's looking downward. And so you can actually thicken this line in here, and it'll appear that he's looking, but you just don't see the white part of his eye because the eyelash is covering up the portion of that part of his eye. Now, from here, we're going to move his cheek. His cheek is actually going to go into the top portion of his nose. Now, once you have that in place, we can come on down. Underneath his nose is going to be his upper lip. And he has a wrinkle line that comes around like this. And we can put this portion of his mouth in here. His mouth curves up and comes over, and it comes up again right here. And then his bottom lip comes out like this. And then his chin comes around after that. Then once we have that in place, we can go ahead and put his hairline in. So for his hairline is just above his eye, where his eyebrow is, and then it goes back and comes around like this. Now, the way we can measure it, the top of his ear is going to be right where his eye is. So we're going to come and put a line right there so that we know where his ear is going to be. Have that line come down here, and then we can put an oval shape for his ear. If you notice, it comes right off of this curve that we started from, or I started in the beginning, and then we can form his ear. So we can wrap that around, come under, keep it simple for now. Now we can create that jawline and match that jawline for where his chin is here. Now, back to the hair. He has a piece that comes in like this, and then another piece that overlaps that and comes over. And off the top of his hair, we can have off the head edge here a line that goes right off the edge of where the forehead is. And he has a hair on top, like kind of like shaved on the sides and a lot on top. So we're gonna come up and then back, and you can come right to where I have that border here and just swoop that in. And off the back, there's gonna be some hair hanging here. And then we're gonna come straight down to where his ear is. Right behind his ear, we're just gonna put that portion of his neck in just for now. And then I'm going to work his hair in. So for this portion, I'm gonna time lapse and get some detail on his hair in. All right, now we have his hair defined here. He has it shaved off the sides. Let's go ahead and deal with his ear. For his ear, we're gonna come in with a line like this, follow the contour around to the front, and then put this shape right here. Comes in and around, curve it. Then we're gonna bring the inner part of the ear out and around, and then close that off like that. And let's go ahead and get his neck in. His neck is gonna come over in the center and then go down, and then he has a line that comes in like this. Now we can move down to what he's actually wearing. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this portion off here because he's wearing a t-shirt. T-shirt comes just up under his chin, so we just want to do a half circle here and stop that there. For his leather jacket, I'm gonna have that come off around near the shoulder. If you see the circle here, I'll indicate that we must point to that for you, and have his leather jacket go right off the edge of the page. Same thing with his left side. Have that come over and go off. It's almost as if you're going to show off eventually the skull on his that he's wearing on a bulletproof vest. Then he has a part of the jacket that comes over like this, back in, come over, and then go down off the page. Keep it very simple. Same thing with this right side. Come over. And it's the style of the leather jacket. It has this portion here of the collar, and then it comes off the bottom of the page. All right. Now for his left arm, we're just gonna come over and then bring it around like this, as we did earlier, and just redefine that. There's nothing particularly going on with his left arm. Then we put the stitch line here, and then we have some folds, like one fold. And it goes straight down. And then there's another one here. All right, now we're gonna deal with the bulletproof vest he's wearing. The shape of it comes up just like this to the center, come down a little bit, over, up, and then come right off like this. Now the shape of the skull is gonna come around and then come off to the other side. In the center, there's two lines that come down, and I suggest you do two lines all the way down off the page like this. Once you complete that, the skull design is going to come down like a V shape and then come up on this side. Then you can repeat that shape by simply doing the same line and making it parallel to the other line, and do the same thing for the left side. Now the skull eyes actually come up under that and just simply come to the center. And you can repeat that to the other side. It's exactly the same. Right underneath that is the skull nose, and it's just going to be a simple shape that comes over and then up like this. And repeat that same shape for his left side. Now once you've done that, there's a bottom portion of the skull, it's actually in the shape of the vest itself. So we're gonna bring a line over like this. And he spray painted this on. It looks like it was spray painted onto the bulletproof vest. So it follows the shape of the bulletproof vest instead of just being a simple skull. And so then after that, the paint actually drips off the edge here. So it's gonna come down like this, dripping off the edge of the page. So you can do 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So about 4 lines here. And then come over to the edge like this. The rest of it comes off to the bottom page like this. And I'll shade that in later at the end of the video. So let's move on to his right arm, which is going to be holding the gun over his shoulder. So here we can just go ahead on and get a shape going in, so we can have a line coming down like this and over and going up. This is going to consist of 3 fingers. The 4th finger is going to be on the trigger. So we're going to bring that up like this. Okay, so right now essentially it looks like I'm drawing it on nothing, but we'll put that the gun in later. And then his thumb is going to come around like this, and it's going to go over. And then his course is going to his leather jacket he's wearing. Now, the palm is going to come in about here. We will fit the gun into his hand at this point. So his fingers around the trigger like this. We want to add the shape of the gun to it. The handle part of the gun is going to come in like this. We're going to let that go around his thumb. It's going to come under it, and it's going to go past his wrist and everything. The handle of the gun is going to come right about here. So it's going to cover up a good portion of his arm. And it's going to stop right here. Then this portion of the gun is going to go behind his head like this. So we're going to just rest this on his shoulder. Have this line go here. And then the major part of the gun is going to stop about here like this. So we have almost a triangular shape here. So from here to here like that. Then this portion of it, which is the handle, is going to go into his hand. Okay. Now, most of the reason why it's not any detail here, because it's mostly shadow. So if you take your pencil and just add additional line here, and I'll show you what I mean later at the end of the video, you don't see that much of the detail because it's in shadow. Now the other part of the gun is like the handle that you would hold it if he was carrying it like a briefcase. So that's going to be right here. And the rest of the gun goes behind his head, and you don't see it. It's off of the frame here. All right, so then his leather jacket's on the hand. It's going to come down like this. Then the rest of it, we're going to draw the rest of his jacket where he's holding the gun, and it's going to come in, and this portion of the leather jacket is going to cover the rest. And this, of course, you see the circle that I've drawn here earlier. That's going to be this portion of the jacket. Then the rest of his arm is going to be hidden, so you're not going to see that because the gun is covering it. So you can come around like this and bring this around. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to define the pinky. We're going to bring that in over, and then it's going to stop about here because it's the shortest finger. Then we had the middle finger, it's going to come here. Then the ring finger is going to come here. Of course, the index finger we already defined inside of the trigger here. And then of course his thumb, which is here. All right. And then the last portion of the gun I saved for last is this piece, the clip that goes in. So the way I'll measure that is I'll come straight over like this with a light line, then define the clip. Or the round that he's going to have in there. You can put like 1 or 2 lines in here. All right, now if you draw, before I go ahead, let me correct one thing. Just want to bring this in just a little more defined here. There we go. All right, now if you draw along with me up to this point, you just drawn Punisher from the Netflix series. And what I'm going to do at this point is clean up all the unwanted lines that I don't like. And I'm going to shade in all of the areas that need to be shaded. And then at the end of it, you can pause it and then take a look at it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by pressing this round button at the bottom. Also, click on one of the 2 top videos at the top. Please like this video, tell a friend, and share it on Facebook. Thank you. Perry Pencil.